What's up, y'all? Jeffery at Jeffery TV coming to you live on Memorex from an undisclosed location, as you can tell by my G-Pad. Default route. Drove out here this morning, so I'm starting this walk a little late. Mother was asleep when I got here, as she usually sleeps during the day and is up all night. Many seem to think that that's because she was a nurse for so many years, working graveyard 11 to 7. But that was like decades ago, and the schedule changed to a regular normal day recently, but either way, she be up all night. And that TV be on. Yeah, I'm out here in 95-degree weather, starting this walk at about noon. I was thinking I could have put on shorts. I got a bunch of shorts at home. I didn't wear them. I just like putting on my sturdy blue jeans, of which I think I only own blue jeans. I need to look at some canvas pants or some other kind of pants, non-blue jean-ish. Now that my weight, though, was going up, 206 this morning, but that was at 9 o'clock. I ain't been up at 9 o'clock in a while. So the day kind of starts off as a quote-unquote good day. I was thinking yesterday, though I got my steps, was a bad day. The day before was a good day. And I want to clarify strongly that in the scale of relevance and relativity to life and to people, what I call a bad day is probably still a good day to the majority of the population. I'm talking about where I'm just lazy and sluggish. I'm in a little bit of pain because of this shoulder thing I got going on. Driving, it gets irritated, or nerves or muscles, spasms, whatever, I don't know. Driving is challenging. That's too strong a word. My life is too goddamn easy for me using words like good and bad. I just have to say that to put everything in perspective. Because there's this ideal not metric, there's this ideal situation or ideal way I would like for my day to play out, where I can look back and say, ooh, that was a good day. And I had a good day. Or, ooh, I got stuff done this day. I just need to get stuff done. I've been lazy, and probably deservedly so. And so I do feel kind of bad when I say I had a bad day in relation to what's going on in the world. I really do. I am very sensitive to that. Well, not very, but I'm sensitive to that. So I'm trying to get back on the path of righteousness, in which my day starts reasonably. I'm not so much productive, but productive is good. I'm in motion. The day goes. I feel good. I don't end up being sluggish, sitting in the chair, just going, ease up on the black and miles, ease up on the eating. Well, the eating I got pretty much in control, and I think it's because of the black amount. The other night I had a food party at 3:30 a.m. with circus peanuts, dots, red vines. You know the Twizzlers, the soft Twizzlers, I think it was. You know how they got the jelly soft Twizzlers with long ropes? I had some of those. Chocolate chip cookies and some duplex creams. You know duplex creams? The sandwich cookies. One vanilla side, one chocolate side with the vanilla cream in the middle. I take them, I twist it and break them open and eat each half by itself. And if I do it right, quote unquote right, half of the cream will get on one side, half of the cream get on the other side. And every now and then I'll bite the whole thing to get, you know, pieces of both sides, just to change it up. Big jar of Kool-Aid, laying in the bed, watching Andor on Disney, which I love. Speaking of which, you know how people started talking about binge watching? This is just my idea. This is just my idea. Binge watching, to me, is when, I think of binge watching is you're not conscious of binge watching. And this might be, you know, a misinterpretation of the definition. And I'm, you know, totally okay with that. I'm totally okay with being mistaken or wrong. I have no problem with that. But to me, binge watching is when you're sitting there and you're watching a series and then you look up and you didn't watch 8 of them and didn't even know it. Now, I consider that binge watching. Now, when the new Game of Thrones season came out, before it came out, I watched all previous 6 seasons. That could be considered binge watching, but since I was determined to do it and I had an agenda, I kind of don't associate that with binging, but I guess it might have been. Plus I saw it already and it was still good. That just shows you how good that damn series was. Second time watching the thing was still good. And no, I'm not gonna talk about anything relevant. I'm just gonna ramble on about my stream consciousness and ramble on about what I'm thinking and how I feel and see where it takes me. Because I'm out here at my mother's, and I think I may have started to say I'm out here caregiving. I'm not. I don't want to put myself in that. It's like I don't want to say I had a bad day and I didn't. Bad is relative. And by bad, I mean, I still had enough to eat. I could go and do whatever I wanted to do. I'm relaxed in my house. My bills are paid. I had a bad day when the most difficult thing was deciding what I want to eat. But then it could be a bad day physically. I was in a little bit of pain, still am, discomfort. Can't even call it pain, I gotta call it discomfort. I need to be more appreciative of the life that I'm living and this life that I'm going through and how much I just truly, deeply enjoy it all. How much I immensely cherish being the person I am. Person I'm becoming, it took 60 years. It took 60 years, it takes time. It takes decades, it takes experience. It takes learning and trial and all that. And interpreting experiences and conceptualizing them, putting them in place, my interpretation of how life works, my understanding how I believe life works, enables me to have and do the things that I want. One of which, and I may be just jumping to this, was the belief I always had that if I went to school and I got education, I would get a job and I would have a career. That I'd make money and I'd live and be happy. I always believed in that. I just always believed. I was thinking, in fact, I was driving up here listening to KNX, traffic, radio, because I had my phone connected to the car, Android Auto, just to have the map on the screen, And I flip it over and put the radio on to listen. 97.1 KNX News, and every 10 minutes, they had the traffic, and I get to hear, briefly what's going on in the day, stock market, blah, blah, blah. And they said something about the Pasadena Star News. I was like, oh my God, I forgot all about that paper. I was gonna call it a rag, but I don't know nothing about what that means. I forgot all about that paper. Because it was back in the day, looking for a job. I had to pull up Sunday Star News, look through them classifieds, electronic technician. Having just graduated from DeVry with electronic technician's diploma. Go out there and get that job. Southern California, from Ohio, and from Youngstown to Columbus. I kind of started to get a feel for things in Columbus. And by that I mean getting my resume together, have my little outfit to wear, my paperwork, cover letters, something to carry it in, and maybe most importantly, getting out there, reading the map, getting on a bus, and going to get it. Being in people's faces, catching a bus, doing those interviews, being on time, presenting myself. Then came out to LA and, oh my God, just so much bigger, so much more, so much bigger. But the game was pretty much the same. And I went after it. I don't think I was scared. I mean, I definitely wasn't scared. I might have been apprehensive. I had an idea of what needed to happen and what I was supposed to do. I knew how the game went. You submit your resume. And I think back then, shit, it was done by mail. Used to get your reply, used to get denials back in mail. If you got skipped over. But always, if they say good news travels fast. So if they wanted you, they called you or whatever. But you get all your letters. And then in the letters, of course, you got somebody's name or the organization and their title. So, you kind of keep that in your file. And then we started going into emails. I think that was in the 90s to the 2000s when I had switched over from electronic technician to the computers. And then, they had faxes. And I had a computer, and I set it up. I'd be faxing 200-300 resumes out like every Sunday or so. And emails, just boom, 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 boom. The spamming folks. Make a few calls here and there. I remember that hustle. That's the end of Star News I used to pick up. And then I started to realize that that's the end of Star News, I'm wasting my money. It was the LA Times Classified, that big, thick baby. In fact, the classified ads in the LA Times on Sunday had more pages and sticker than the Youngstown paper, the whole Youngstown paper on Sunday. In fact, once I got it down and I realized what parts of the paper I needed, by the time I took the classifieds out, and I always take the ads out for shopping and stuff, just to see, it wasn't much of the paper left. Because I didn't really read the sports stuff or headlines or anything. Opinion, I think I took the opinion every now and then. The calendar, oh my God. The calendar in the LA Times on Sunday. How can I forget that part? You get the calendar and you get the classified. Wait. You get the calendar, you get the classified. Ooh, that calendar, I used to love that calendar, boy. That calendar and the LA Weekly, that's something separate. But that calendar had a lot in it. P-Funk used to show up, P-Funk dates would show up in there. This was all before, the internet got to be what it is today. Woo! Living down there on San Marino Avenue. I used to live a half a block from Colorado Boulevard, between Allen and Sierra Madre. So every New Year's, the parade I could just get up, walk right up the street, half a block. And watch the Rose Parade go by. It was at the end, and people was tired and really not performing, but it was still cool to see the floats. Liquor store was up there. So when I was drinking before I quit, me and the liquor store had an intimate relationship. Plus the phone was there. My phone back then, if you long distance, you don't pay your bill, your phone get cut off. Of course, I got all them people back home. The bill would get ranned up. And yes, ranned up. People come stay with you, and they run up your bill and all that, and you don't pay, they cut it off. So, me and collect calls to my father, and that phone at the back at the liquor store. We had a relationship, and then it was to the point where I developed some credit from the liquor store, and it got out of hand. Had to figure out the way to get that paid down. Finally did. Bevan and Brock was our realtor, the property management for the apartment I was renting. And with me, Terry, and Jeffery was just been born. We live in there. I guess he trusted us, or he pulled behind us because he did a lot to help us to get through that time. I remember him coming to my house and, talking to him and going through that, going through this, and being very lenient, very helpful, and working with us. We got back on our feet, got that square. And I got a job. I believe I was working at Avacom. Started making some steady money. First job I had at Kennedy Company, I was still drinking. And it didn't go well. I remember one time waking up on the bus, having missed my stop, knowing, oh boy, I'm gonna be late again, and this ain't gonna be good. And they eventually let me go. Definitely from drinking, being late and whatever, and just, not having that focus, not having that energy to be the kind of employee I am now. So they let me go, and then eventually I got a job at Avacom, Hughes Avacom. I ended up there 7-8 years. Really got my feet stable, got everything, plan it right and set up right. Hell, bought a condo. Bought a condo off of that job. Kids would come visit. The evolution. When I first landed, 790 Alberta Street, Altadena. My cousin Noreen, Butchie, Lark, Pam, Keegan, stayed with them. Debbie was laying there too. We all in that house. Got my first job at Ole's Hardware. Messed that up, drinking. Not drinking on the job, just drinking and not being able to make it to work and not, calling off and missing too many days. Got paid one time, family Thanksgiving, probably my most embarrassing alcoholic moment ever in my life. Family was there, they still talk about it. Came home, I was so embarrassed I just stayed in my room for 3 days, didn't even call off work or nothing. And they fired me. And then Noreen and them moved. And Debbie went to stay with Danny, and I went to stay with Tony and Annette. Shout out to Tony and Annette, Dwayne and Mingo for letting me stay in with them too. And I remember Tony was cool. Me and Tony went there, messed around, made chitlins on the humbug, and we cleaned them so much they wasn't worth a damn. And that was when the Owner of a Lonely Heart came out. Yes, by Yes. And me and him used to hang out and go to poo balls and get records. It was real cool. And then he was like, all right, man, it's time for you to start paying rent. I was like, that's fair. And
walk sign is
right when I was supposed to start paying rent, I found an apartment. I can't remember where that apartment was. Now that I think about it. Wait a minute, that was San Marino. That was before everything. Wow, that was my first apartment. That was San Marino. Cause see, I'm thinking San Marino was, Jeffery was born there, Terry was there, Debbie ended up moving. I mean, a lot happened in San Marino. That, what I was talking about now, was before San Marino. I remember he said, in January, you gotta start paying rent. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, no problem. But I ended up getting an apartment and moving out before I could pay me any rent. I still feel kind of weird about that, because these people did me a good favor. Family, now, because this life, I love this life. I absolutely love this life in California, and they helped me get that. A lot of people have come, a lot of people have left. Everybody didn't make it out here, but I did. And that's something that I'm very well aware of and very appreciative and proud of. Then my mother moved out here after Jeffrey was born. They sold the house on Dewey. They moved out here. My mother got a job with her nursing skills, the VA, et cetera, et cetera. So she was able to, really take off out here, get established, make a lot of money. She bought a condo. It's the one we're dealing with now. She's been a couple places. She started in Rancho. That was back when driving from Pasadena to Rancho Cucamonga, there wasn't no freeway. You had to take Baseline Road and know all these tricky paths. And if you're taking off on a Friday, woo, traffic. Yeah, my California life. I love it. And then now, just to jump forward, the Menendez brothers trial is happening in Van Nuys. And I work for the Menendez brothers they own live entertainment. And I started working with live entertainment until it was bought out by a conglomerate or, investment group. And they changed their name to Artist Entertainment. And we eventually had to hit Blair Witch Project, working in Santa Monica. I mean, top-notch movie stuff, high-end entertainment industry. Oh God. But they're having a trial now to let them out of jail because they killed their parents, and now they're having some kind of retrial to maybe let them out or something. And it's happening in Van Nuys. I love California, I love my life. See, and that's when I say it's hard for me to say bad. It really is. It really is hard for me to say bad. Because my father, I've always had my father behind me, always, even to this day. Even to this day. If you want to get crude about it, through inheritance, even to this day, he got my back. And I always knew that he had my back. I didn't, I hope that I didn't rely on it or overuse it or take advantage of it. I don't think I did. I don't think he would allow that, number one. Because I do remember every single time calling to ask him for money, and there were plenty of times I had to work up to it. I had to work up to it. I had to, make sure I understood what I was going to ask for, why I was asking for it. Have a plan going forward. Just to have, you just couldn't walk up on them. I need this. No. I had an explanation what happened, what so-and-so wants, when it's needed, when it's due. And if there was any way I could, recompensate, and then it got to the point where I stopped saying I'm gonna pay him back. And he would send it to me and send a check. We'd have to jump through hoop to get a check cash and this and that, the bank account. Because even having a bank account back then wasn't easy.
Wait.
So I've always had, so when I say my life is bad or hard, I've always had my father behind me. And let alone my mother and everybody, the family support. So I really, 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 when I think about my life and some of the people I know, especially out here in California, the music industry and the hippie lifestyle, this kind of lifestyle out here, big city, some of the stuff these people went through, oh my God. With family and homelessness and drugs and jail. I had none of that. I always had a roof over my head. When the one time I didn't have a roof over my head, I stayed with my mother. Where I get hotels. I had enough money where I get a hotel. I'm gonna get a hotel. And I got that system down. I got that system worked out. Where I knew where the hotels were, how to get them and this and that. Had a car, it was a convertible, a Baron. I mean, it wasn't all that, but it was something, So, again, when I say bad, it's really hard for me to keep using that word. Because, again, I have, since 1989, when I told that lie, when I had multiple relationships going on, and they all kind of clashed at once, I'm standing in that shower saying I ain't gonna never be in this position again. I remember the color of the shower, that weird yellow, standing there with the window, the curtain. I remember. I said, I ain't never gonna be in this position again. I said too many things going on at once and it all collided. And I had to tell somebody that I really, really cared about it. Ended up in jail. You know, I wasn't hitting nobody. Well, there was some domestic violence, quote unquote, on both ends. But hell, who's gonna get taken to jail? The one with the warrant, and that was me. They weren't gonna take her, my guy. Firing that woman, they ain't want nothing to do with that. I was scared of that. I was like, I don't blame you. Take me to jail, please. Let me go to jail. Just broke my house, tore everything up. Messed up records, cut up my clothes, tore up my car. You know, that type of stuff. Even going through that. I mean, it may have been traumatic. My mother always tells me, oh, that's traumatic, that's this, that's that. Like, yeah, that's nothing. That's just, you know, you just do it. It's like some of the stuff you do when you're young, you just do it. When you look back on it, you say, how the hell? Or what the hell? You know? Some of the stuff you're young, you just do it, because you're going through it, you're experiencing it. It doesn't seem so, you're focused on handle it or whatever. I mean, I'm trying to think of, so my life, I mean, in general and basically, I can't really say it was, at least right now, I can't think of anything. And that is a statement in itself. If right now I'm thinking about over in my life, and I can't think of anything so traumatic that stands out, that right there is enough. So when I say a good day and a bad day, please understand that with a grain of salt. Let me take that with a whatever, you know, understand that, because like I said, in 1989, when I decided I ain't lying no more to anybody or anything, this is it. I ain't gonna never be in this position again. And I haven't. Since then, I have not deliberately told somebody something that I knew was not true. I cleaned up my life. I said, I don't ever want to feel like this. I don't ever want to be beholden to anybody else. I don't want to be dependent on anybody else. I had quit drinking in 1989. I just cleaned it all up. I lost weight, lost about 60 pounds. See, actually, I think in 89 I quit drinking. Yeah, in 89 I quit drinking. Lost all this weight, and that's where all the attention started to come. That's when I was, you know, I was new. I'm all brand new. Girls looking at me. I'm looking back, I got that swagger now. You know, a little bit of confidence. Cause you know, I'm looking at myself when I was like 280, 290, whatever, down to like 235 or something small like that. That's when I got all these entanglements. In fact, to tell the story, I was hanging out with my ex-wife. She came with me to my grandmother's funeral. And that's where I saw the next one. I was with my ex-wife at my grandmother's funeral. That's when I saw the next one. And I think I even told my ex-wife, she liked me. And I was definitely enthralled, interested. I think I wrote her a letter, got her address, sent her a letter. Next thing she knows, she moved out here. We living together on San Marino. Told her about the whole episode thing about this and that. You know, came completely clean with her about what I did and didn't do and how I felt. And she started working, she started making money, I'm making money. Boom, boom, boom. Got an apartment together. Boom, laid it out. Cars. You know, nothing fancy, but you know, we was rolling, you know. And then things started to go awry. And or I did not have the fortitude to go through the hard part of such relationship. And maybe I wasn't cut out to do that anyway. Even though in my heart, I wanted to be where I was. Hell, we used to have other couple come over and we all hang out, all four of us, go to Vegas together. Oh, you know, just all of that. But when I got out, okay, at work at Avocom, working a night or something, whatever, I forget how it was. One time we was messing around or whatever, we was doing something, and Jackie kissed me. I mean, she put her tongue in my mouth, she put one on me. And me and her was just kind of cool. In fact, I was more interested in her friend, Andrea, who was, I don't want to say anything negative about Andrea, but let's just say, yeah. You know, she was all of that, but maybe too much of that. And Jackie kissed me. Now I'm still living with Marcy. Whoops, I said a name. I didn't mean to say a name. I'm still living with, you know, the girl who I saw with my ex-wife at my grandmother's funeral. I'm still living with her. But we had decided we was gonna split up at the end of the year. You know, she's gonna get an apartment, this and do that. Or I was gonna move out. And something like that was going on. And Jackie kissed me. I was like, oh Lord. The switch flipped. It was like magical. I was like, oh my God. I came back, I remember telling Thomas Johnson, I was like, Thomas, Jackie just kissed me. She said, look at you, dude. You look like you stunned. I was like, I am. And I told Jackie, I said, all right, we ain't gonna, you know, I'm still in this situation. Like, so we ain't gonna do nothing until blah, blah, blah. And that's when I moved out, I bought a condo in Azusa. When I moved out, I bought a condo in Azusa. That's how I was rolling. And me and Jackie started our relationship. So I've had that in my life. Seems like now I'm over it, to be honest with you. Seems like now I'm over it, really. I mean, I still get excited about this and that. And ultimately, I think it's more than just being nice to have a partner that you can collaborate with and connect with and work together. But Paul Pierce said in an interview he did that if he was to get married again or a relationship, he says 3 things. He's like cooking, honesty, or something. His third one, he was like separate houses. And I was like, Negro. Negro, say it again. And he was like, or at least separate bedrooms. I was like, I said that 20 years ago. I said that 20 years ago. And it's not so much, you know, you stay at your house, I stay at my house. It's basically stay wherever. You know, where you at? I'm at this South house. Oh really? I'm at my house. Oh yeah, well I'm in the area. I'm gonna come over there, okay? Or I'm over here now. All right, well, chill out. I want tonight. I want to be here about my night. Ain't no kids here, and the kids can stay wherever they want. You know, kids can go back and forth. Everybody, it's free reign to go and stay, you know, wherever you want. There's no like, you can't come here. You can't come here. No, it's just they have that extra space. And so he said that that's kind of where I'm at now, you know. That space. So, I don't know. I think I know what I want. At least I definitely know what I want to explore. And I get really excited about certain things. And that excitement leads me to believe that it's something that I want. To at least try or explore, to have that connection. Maybe not like living together. You know, you can still live where you at. And we connect through social media and talking and FaceTime. And, you know, I'm at a point now where anytime I want to see you, I just jump on a plane and come. Or I fly you down or whatever, if it's that, you know, bigger distance. So, for pretty much my life, I've had good relationships. I have very good relationships. I have had very good women in my life. I have very bad women in my life, whatever bad means. No, they all been good. They all been good, because if they was bad, they wouldn't be in my life. They all been good. But I've had some excellent, top quality, the marrying kind. The kind of people would die to marry, to have the opportunity. I've had that, so I've had that experience. Honesty, complete open, sharing, getting along, spending time, that whole excitement thing. And it just feels a lot. Because I don't believe relationships are meant to last forever. They're supposed to last as long as they are good. I've never seen a bad divorce. Usually after divorce, the people are closer and more friends and better off than when they were married. I might be exaggerating when I say I've never seen a bad divorce, but I can't think of one. People get along afterwards. So, how did I start talking about this? Oh, I think I was talking about San Marino. Apartment in San Marino. How that was my first apartment and everything started from there. My ex-wife came out. We were young, 20 years old, 20, 21, 22. She came out from Ohio. She got a job and we was working. We was doing this, you know. She got pregnant. She was like, Jeff, I'm gonna have a baby. You know me, I'm like, you mean I'm gonna be a father? Yeah, I don't know what to say. But you know, I was like, oh, okay. What do we gotta do? We figured it out. Figure out what paperwork we need to sign. This, that, work that. was good. We were young, it was an experience. So I've had all that. And I don't want to say it like, you know, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But I want to say it so I know what it's like to have that rewarding, intimate relationship. I know what it's like just to have that connection. But oh my God, and Andrea, the best friend I ever had by far. Oh my God, me and her, me and her were just so close, so in tune and close and just sharing everything, 100%, just, oh, that. And we were friends. I guess you would call it friends with benefits, you know, because every now and then, let's just leave it at that, every now and then. But she had her boyfriend, you know, like, you go do what you do, go do what I do, you know, whatever. You know, don't be coming over here looking for none of that. Go over there and get some. We sleep in the same bed together, you know. You know, it wasn't, you know, nudity, whatever. We was just super close. We was just super close. She'd come up, I'd be on my computer. She have a key, she opened the door. I wouldn't even look at it from the computer. I just, you know, she'd come in and hear her bags drop, and she'd take a shower and she'd put on her music. She'd come in, put on the music. She knew how to, you know, I'm just sitting there, she put on the music, she'd cook. You know, we just vibe out on Friday, whatever. You know, talk. Oh, I was gonna say it was the best. It probably was. That was probably the best. That probably was the best because I didn't have that attachment. I didn't have that sense of urgency or attachment, or that I wasn't. Oh, what you doing? Who you going with? You know, how come you ain't doing it? There was no expectation. There was no expectation. So I wasn't worried about this or that. I wasn't worried about other men or what she doing, or, you know, if she doing that. And plus I could trust her. Lying was forget it, you know. We understood the whole thing about lying. Me and her got on that same page. And we just had a trust and a bond that, you know. Until she tracked down the phone number of one of my girlfriends that she knew I liked a lot, and told her husband that your wife is messing around. After she did that, I cut her off. She did that, I cut her off for like 2-3 years. I had to stop talking to her. Boom, that's it. You're done. You know, she called, I'd hang up, wouldn't take her call, just complete, nope. That was messed up. You know? And she even regretted it afterwards. After years and years, you know, we ended up talking. In fact, we had tickets to go see Sade. And we went, I didn't talk to her. She came up to me, tried to talk to me, I just looked at her. I didn't say a word to her. You know, I went and did my thing. Just no. But we kind of got by that and ended up communicating again. And she passed away recently, a couple years ago or so. She was living with somebody in Atlanta. We talk about him, and we talk about everything. We would talk about everything. So that was probably the best that I ever had. So, I don't know why I went down this road. Hope it don't get me in no trouble. And then, this part might get me in trouble now, really. And then I started I subscribed to eHarmony, and I met two just exquisitely divine people. I mean, separate, years apart, years and years apart, but just quality. I mean, established relationships. European, well, Eastern, from Europe. These people weren't even white. They were Caucasian. They were before white. Just got along well, talked, just the best. Just quality, and then they ran their course. I think maybe the first one was I wasn't ready. And I don't mean, I wasn't ready. Like work-wise, financially, who I was, I needed to be built up. I needed to grow and be built up a little bit more. Cause she was like established, had money, was kind of paying for everything. But real cool about it, I mean, no problem, I probably didn't like the way that was happening, or my role in that. Even though I ain't gonna say I took advantage of it, but I participated in it. It was good. I would do, I would be this role, and she would be that role. And it seemed to work, but I think looking back at that one, I wasn't ready. I needed to get out of that so that I could grow, be almost forced to evolve to that next level and become something, quote unquote, worthy to be on her level. The second one, probably my most recent, it was just like, we never even argued. We never argued once. We was kicking it for maybe 2-3 years, whatever, during COVID. Just hang out, cook, eat, food, shop, travel, talk, everything, exchange. It was just beautiful. We never even argued. We just on the even, it was so good. It was boring. Because the previous relationship I had was chaotic and not violent, but chaotic and sporadic and volatile and so I came from that. And I got with this one, everything was so smooth and easy going and relaxing and it was just beautiful. We just got along so well. We even talked about, wow, what is this? How come we get along so well? Then that one ran its course. And now, where am I at? Some people would say alone, by myself. Yeah. Definitely single, unattached. I wonder, I don't feel alone. I may be alone, definitely ain't lonely. I think that's how they say it. Do I want to be in a relationship? Want is a strong word. At times, I'm severely open to it. But do I want to be? Probably not, because if I wanted to be, I'd be in one. I'd go out and do what I do. I mean, I can't say it like that because I really don't know how to do it. I really don't know how to do that. I'm not accomplished at that. I just, do things to present myself as being open. But I find myself more and more not wanting to be bothered. not wanting to be bothered with it. And it comes to a point where you want it more than you don't want to be bothered. That you put up with being bothered and going through all this and going through all that. I mean, because sometimes I'm sitting there, a few times where so-and-so said they was gonna call. And I'm like, oh God. Not oh God, I don't want to talk to them. I just don't want to talk to nobody. And I just wanted to be, I didn't feel like being on the phone or talking with anybody, not just that person. I just, now I got this person gonna call in an hour. So now between now and an hour, I'm thinking about that. And I wish I didn't have to. I just want to lay down and go to sleep. That kind of thing. But every now and then, well, not every now and then, occasionally, you'll meet someone who excites you and turns all that other stuff off and turns something else on, and you're like, whoa, okay, hey. The excitement got to come from within, and the rest to follow. Oh, we'll see. I'll just do what I do. P-Funk shows, travel, work or not work. Take care of my mother. Elder sit. I don't be doing no caregiving. I elder sit. Let's be real. Anyhow, so I may have to stop using the word bad. I may have to stop using the word good or bad, period. Because I don't believe there's such things. Good, bad, right or wrong. I might just have to eliminate those words from my vocabulary. Now, if I say not good, I think that's probably better understood the meaning. Not optimum. How about if I say that? Not optimum. What's optimum? You got to define optimum. You got to define these things. But if you say it, people know what you're talking about. When I say it's bad or good, you get your point across without having to give a dissertation or a thesis. An explanation of definitions and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm complaining because I can't complain. No, look, I'm walking by. Look what I just walked by now. Oh, love. Oh. Am I cynical about love? No. Maybe yes. Well, the mainstream stereotypical love, I'm definitely cynical about. But having a relationship, just love at a whole different kind of thing where you have a relationship that goes beyond love. The love is just a minor adjective. Like what me and Andrea had, the best friend I ever had, love too shallow of a word to explain. It's beyond that. This was almost metaphysical. I don't know what that word means anymore. Now that I'm listening to objectivism, the way they use the word metaphysical, it may not mean what I think it means. But with me and her had love was almost such an understatement. Love would belittle. We wasn't in love, definitely wasn't that. And love, no, love, the way I think about love in the stereotypical, I guess the mainstream, no. What me and her had was way beyond that. It was deeper, way deeper. Love is an insult to say that, I mean, of course we loved each other. No, yeah, we did, but not in a way that you're so used to using that word. Saying we loved each other belittles what we had. Love ain't nothing. The stuff I'm talking about, the places I want to go, love ain't nothing. Love is for other people to see in us. Love is a display for the public. What's really going on, what's really happening, the dynamics that I'm looking to go far beyond anything you see on TV. Well, I didn't mean to put it that way. Goes far beyond what I think the idea, people say love and all that. Anyway, swinging on y'all, I'm stopping in the shade. It's 95 degrees out here. I'm gonna stop and take a breath. Anyway, and I'm gonna swing on y'all 2 times. For me, for the phone. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed, ooh, I might get cha-chas. Cha-chas, but okay, remember last time I came, cha-chas was closed. I might come get cha-chas, right? Go home, do my shower, put my clothes in the dryer. And to every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be, the totality of it all, theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.